How do you feel when you look at this building? Small? Insignificant? Perhaps even a little frightened? Feeling that way is no accident. It is design. Fascist architecture wasn't only a question of aesthetics. It was an intentional tool of thoroughgoing authority and national fervor. Its goal was to emit the power and ideology of the fascist state by anchoring that state in the martial glory of Rome, in what was termed Romanità. The regime cast itself as a successor to the Roman Empire, and its edifices were supposed to prove that lineage in steel and stone. It selectively took what was needed from a mythical imperial past in order to validate its plans for a new era of dominance. Architects such as Marcello Piacentini and Albert Speer combined two seemingly disparate styles, the rationalism and the stripped classicism, and merged them into a single, deliberate language. While the rationalism, exemplified by Giuseppe Terragni's Casa del Fascio, is characterized by clean lines and a new materiality that emphasizes progress and technological capability, the classicism, on the contrary, derives elements of grandeur from Roman and Greek monumental architecture, colonnades, arches, and monumental scales, but strips them of the classical ornamentation to the emblematic model of the Palazzo della Civita Italiana, also known as the Square Colosseum, and famous for transcribing the arches of ancient Roman iconography and translating them into a stiff and macabre abstraction, achieving thus a sense of unity and eternity itself. Yet the true intention of this architecture lay in its scale, a scale calibrated for social control. Public spaces and grand boulevards were designed to host mass meetings and parades, events engineered to instill a deadening sense of awe in onlookers. Hitler and Speer envisioned a rebuilt Berlin topped with the Volkshalle, a huge hall with a dome many times larger than St. Peter's, and so enormous that it would render human scale invisible and preclude critical, autonomous thinking. Persons were merely points within a solid, geometric mass sworn to the leader. The plan surpassed the regime's own time. Speer spoke of a theory of ruins, whereby the design principle employed durable materials, limestone and marble, so that a millennium hence, the ruins would still project power. They would stand as perpetual symbols of authority, a political project intent on shaping how power would be remembered far into the future. This was architecture aimed not at the passing moment, but at an enduring legacy. The architectural story in communist states told the story of another, equally totalizing dream, that Marxist-Leninist hope for a new classless world. At its heart was the drive to forge a new kind of person, the so-called New Soviet Man, or Homo Sovieticus, and the conviction that to remake people, one had to remake the physical world around them. This meant breaking decisively with the past, often through violence. To erase history, one destroyed forms that once housed it, especially churches, as an act of ideological cleansing. History wasn't a sturdy base to build on, it was a weight to be lifted. Immediately following the 1917 revolution, this impulse precipitated an explosion of avant-garde energy that came to be called constructivist architecture. This style was abstract and spare, wedded to a new social purpose. It rejected fancy ornamentation in favor of the industrial assembly of materials and a belief in engineering marvels. It was pioneered by innovators including Vladimir Tatlin and the Vesnin brothers. A central idea was the creation of a new way of life for the working class. Architects like Moise Ginsburg promoted collective housing, commune, designed to propel society beyond the old bourgeois apartments. The designs favored utilitarian communal living, even featuring ideas like factory kitchens meant to erase individual cooking. For a time, many believed architecture could be a laboratory of a future society. Yet that avant-garde surge did not last. It was swept away by the state-sanctioned style of socialist realism, which reached its apogee under Stalin. This was a conscious political turn, a pivot from utopian communalism towards state-centered grandeur. Stalinist architecture grasped for majesty, its goal nothing less than to make the Soviet cities look greater than those of the empires gone by. The famous Seven Sisters of Moscow epitomized this shift. These towers combine the more subtle Baroque and Gothic cues with modern methods, towering upwards with intricate spires and a star on top. Behind those fantastic facades, the interior was often starkly simple. Public building interiors did receive columns, murals, and bas-reliefs bearing the hammer and sickle. No more was the state in need of collaborative creativity. It needed a style that would inspire fear in, project hegemony, and demand compliance. This top-down control came through clearest in urban planning. Faced with a housing shortage and a mandate to transform a rural population into an urban working class, the state rolled out mass-produced, standardized apartment blocks. Typical living space was a mere 9 to 10 square meters per person. Nurseries, schools, and theaters were placed within easy reach of workers' homes. Wide avenues served military parades, but also formed direct routes to factories. It was a comprehensive system of social engineering, using the built environment as a laboratory for a future society. Both the fascist and communist architects achieved their goal of leaving a legacy, though perhaps not the one they intended. They left us a warning, written in concrete and steel, that when architecture is used as a weapon of the state, the human scale is the first casualty. Thank you for watching. If you want to support the channel, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.